from the perspective of the vendors. These are vendors that have onboarded through our system. And we, for the next couple slides, we took a look at change data. So basically, when a vendor has onboarded through PaymentWorks, has selected a payment method, and then goes into our system for some reason and requests a change. So they're no longer comfortable or no longer feeling like their former payment method was optimal for some reason. And in this chart here, we're looking at the request to change to a card payment. So this gets into the immediate term or upon approval term that you can get from a virtual card payment that you may not be able to get from an ACH or a check. And to give a sense of typical data for opt-in to cards, both in updates and in the initial registration of vendors, it's typically 3 to 4%. And so we're looking at these massive spikes in card adoption by vendors, and specifically updates, where a vendor was previously receiving a different payment method and moved to card, where we're up to 15, 16, 14%, rather than that typical 3 or 4. And we started to notice that those spikes actually appeared to be associated with major financial and pandemic-related events. So that first spike on the far left side of this graph is the initial COVID shutdown, March 2020. So it could be, and this is all correlation, not causation. We didn't ask every single vendor, but it could be related to the certainty that you get in receiving a card payment, that in a time of financial hardship, of instability or insecurity, or even times where you can't come into your office to pick up a check, you might move to a payment like a card. And then similarly, we saw a couple of spikes throughout that COVID crisis. And in December of 2020, which is that second major spike, that was kind of the biggest hit of the pandemic. And then lastly, sort of as we trend across time here, we can see for the most part, standard movement, a little bit of upward trends across certain months. But then coming into the present, right now, we're on a pretty dramatic upward slope here. And that could be potentially related to all these conversations about money costing money, about the time value of money, about interest rates going up, and vendors just wanting their payments as quickly as they can get them.